In this module, we'll be talking about task M5, Security and Privacy Reporting. In this task, we report the security and privacy posture of the system to the authorizing official and other organizational officials on an ongoing basis in accordance with the organizational continuous monitoring strategy. Potential inputs to this task are the security and privacy assessment reports, the plan of actions and milestone, the organization and system level risk assessment results, the organization and system level continuous monitoring strategy, the security and privacy plans, and the cyber security framework profile. Expected outputs from this task are the security and privacy posture reports. Primary responsibility for this task is the system owner, the common control provider, the senior agency information security officer, the senior agency official for privacy. Supporting roles for this task are the system security officer and the system privacy officer. This does align with the SDLC. For a new system, it aligns with operations and maintenance. And guess what? For an existing system, it aligns with operations and maintenance. There is no alignment with the cybersecurity framework. So let's dive into this task. The results of monitoring activities are documented and reporting to the authorizing official and other selected organizational officials on an ongoing basis in accordance with the organizational continuous monitoring strategy. Other organizational officials who may receive the security and privacy posture reports include, for example, the Chief Information Officer, the Senior Agency Information Security Officer, the Senior Agency Official for Privacy, the Senior Accountable Official for Risk Management or the Risk Executive Function, the Information Owner or Steward, and Incident Response roles and Contingency Planning roles. So as we did all of the activities in the monitoring stage, in the monitoring step, up to this point, they've produced an amount of information. That information is provided in reports to these officials. So we get this information to the organizational leadership so they can make their risk-based decisions and modify or monitor the organization as the system goes through its life cycle. Security and privacy posture reporting can be event-driven, time-driven, or event and time-driven. Reporting on security and privacy posture is intended to be an ongoing and should not be interpreted as requiring the time, expense, and formality associated with the information provided in the initial authorization. Rather, reporting is conducted in a cost-effective manner consistent with achieving the reporting objectives. A couple things here. The first thing is the reporting. First, the organization has to define what reports are going to be used. And this should be more succinct, more down to the point than the initial authorization. So these are updates to reports. Maybe it's an update to the plan of action and milestones. Maybe it's a quarterly report to the security officials. As an organization, we define them. And they can be event-driven, so it can be based on a specific event happening, like an incident happens, or a new piece of equipment is purchased, or they can be time-driven, such as every month, every quarter, every year. So, and it provides this information in a cost-effective manner. So we don't want to get tied down in the details of the report. We want to have a nice, clean report that provides the information that's needed rather quickly. The reports provide the authorizing official and other organizational officials with information regarding the security and privacy posture of the systems, including the effectiveness of the implemented controls. Again, all that information we've gathered up to this point is put in those reports and sent to these officials so they can keep track of the privacy and security posture of the controls that are implemented to protect the system and the information. Security and privacy posture reports describe the ongoing monitoring activities employed by system owners or common control providers. The reports also include information about the security and privacy risks in the system and environments of operation discovered during control assessments, auditing, and continuous monitoring, and how system owners or common control providers plan to address those risks. So we just keep compiling information for these organizational officials so they have a complete picture of the risk that's going to be incurred if the system or common control set continues to be used. Organizations have the flexibility in breadth, depth, formality, form, and format of the security and privacy posture reports. The goal is efficient, ongoing communication with the authorizing official and other organizational officials as necessary, conveying the current security and privacy posture of systems and environments of operation and how the current posture affects individuals, organizational missions, and business functions. And again, the root of all this is giving the organizational officials, including the authorizing official, information about the current status of the privacy and security status of the system or common control set. That's really the heart of this. It gives them ongoing, updated information about the systems they're responsible for. At a minimum, the Security and Privacy Posture Report summarizes changes to the security and privacy plans, security and privacy assessment reports, and the plan of action and milestones that have occurred since the last report. The use of automated security and privacy management and reporting tools, like a dashboard, by organizations facilitates the effectiveness and timeliness of security and privacy posture reporting. Two things here. First, we talk about those initial documents that are required as a minimum for the authorization package, right? And that was the security privacy plan, the assessment reports, and the POAM. That's what we're, at a minimum, those are the documents we're updating here. And again, update using an automated tool whenever you can. Maybe provide a dashboard that leaders can look at and get the most up-to-date information at a snapshot view. The frequency of security and privacy posture reports is at the discretion of the organization and in compliance with federal and organizational policies. Reports occur at appropriate intervals to transmit the security and privacy information about systems or common controls, but not so frequently as to generate unnecessary work and expense. So we want to find that perfect frequency to where we're not overloading people with information and spending a lot of time creating reports no one reads. But it has to be at the frequency set at least by the organization or by federal law. So we want to make sure we define that as an organization. That helps all of the system owners. Authorizing officials use the security and privacy posture reports and consult with the senior accountable official for risk management or risk executive function, the senior agency information security officer, and the senior agency official for privacy to determine if reauthorization actions are necessary. Again, just like we did earlier, the AO is going to consult with these individuals and determine if the system introduces too much risk, and if it does, maybe it goes back to reauthorization, or maybe they see it is okay and it doesn't increase the risk level of the organization, and they can just reauthorize the system without going through the authorization process again. Security and privacy posture reports are marked, protected, and handled in accordance with federal and organizational policies. Security and privacy posture reports can be used to satisfy FISMA reporting requirements for document remediations, actions for security and privacy weakness and deficiencies. Again, two things here. We're going to put a lot of information in these reports. It's going to have a lot of detailed information about maybe strengths and also weaknesses with the system, maybe controls that aren't fully in place. So we want to mark and handle these things with care because they may provide a lot of information to the attacker that can be used to attack the organization or the system. The other thing, if we have good solid documentation, we may be able to use this to satisfy FISMA reporting requirements. Reporting on security and privacy posture is intended to be ongoing and should not be interpreted as requiring the time, expense, and formality associated with the information provided for the initial assessment. Rather, the reporting is conducted in a cost-effective manner consistent with achieving the reporting activities. Again, just get the information to the leaders so they can make these decisions. The format, form, and frequency should all be defined at the organizational level, and the system owner and common control provider can use those formats to meet those time requirements to get the information where it needs to go. References for this task include Special Publication 853 Alpha and Special Publication 800-137, as well as the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. In this module, we discussed Task M5, its inputs, outputs, roles and responsibilities, SDLC and CSF lifecycle alignment, monitoring and activity reporting, reporting frequency, reporting information, reporting content, organizational flexibility, reporting minimums, report use, handling restrictions, ongoing reporting, and references. If any of this at all doesn't make sense to you, go back and watch that portion of the video again. If it all makes sense to you, I'd say go on to the next video, and if you're taking the course, jump into the course material for further explanation and detail on this task.